stare at my laptop screen, unable to process what I'm seeing. A confirmation email for first-class flights to Hawaii sits in my inbox, but I never booked any trips. My coffee cup slips from my fingers and crashes onto the kitchen table, dark liquid seeping into the financial spreadsheets I've spent all morning organizing. No, I whisper, my heart pounding as I click on the email. The total amount, $7,800, stares back at me, charged to my Platinum credit card. Not my parents' account, mine. This is the same kitchen table where I've sat every month for the past 18 months, paying bills for a family that isn't grateful. The same house I grew up in, now a financial prison I can't seem to escape. My father's voice breaks through my shock. Morning, Autumn. He shuffles into the kitchen in his worn slippers, Mom following close behind. What's this? I turn the laptop toward them, my voice trembling. First-class tickets to Hawaii on my credit card? They exchange a quick glance before Mom waves her hand dismissively. Oh, Chloe handled all that. We thought you knew. The memory of our family dinner 2 weeks ago floods back. Dad had complained about the cheap cuts of meat I'd bought, and Mom had sighed dramatically when I explained the grocery budget was running low. Maybe if Chloe got a job, we'd have more flexibility, I'd suggested, keeping my voice even despite the frustration building inside me. Dad's face had reddened instantly. Your sister doesn't need that kind of pressure right now. Chloe just hasn't found her calling yet, Mom had added with a shrug, as if my sister's perpetual unemployment at 26 was just a quirky personality trait. Now, watching them casually pour coffee, as if they hadn't just discovered thousands of dollars in theft, something snaps inside me. I need to speak to Chloe. Now. My voice comes out stronger than I expected. It's just a family vacation, Autumn, Dad says, his tone placating. Don't make such a fuss. A family vacation I didn't know about, didn't agree to, and certainly didn't authorize anyone to charge to my card. My hands have stopped trembling. I pull out my phone and open my banking app. Mom peers over my shoulder. What are you doing? I don't answer, just scroll through the recent transactions. My stomach drops as the numbers add up. $23,000. $500 in new charges over the past week. Resort booking. Shopping sprees. Spa treatments. Car rentals. I look up to find Chloe standing in the doorway, scrolling through her phone with practiced indifference. Care to explain why you charged over $20,000 to my credit card without asking me? I ask, my voice deadly quiet. Before Chloe can answer, Mom jumps in. She was just trying to do something nice for us, Autumn. Nice? I laugh, the sound harsh even to my own ears. Taking money without permission isn't nice. It's theft. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Dad says, sliding into a chair. We're family. Families help each other. And there it is, the assumption that's been slowly crushing me for 18 months. I'm not their daughter. I'm their ATM. The realization hits me with stunning clarity. I've been working 60-hour weeks, paying their mortgage, covering their utilities, buying their groceries, and funding their emergencies while they've treated me like a resource rather than a person. This isn't helping, I say slowly. This is taking advantage. Chloe finally looks up from her phone. It's not like you can't afford it. You make what, $12,000 a month? Stop being so stingy. I stand up, gathering my laptop and phone. For the first time in months, I see my family clearly. Dad's entitled expectation, Mom's manipulative concern, Chloe's casual disregard. They don't respect me. They don't appreciate me. They just want what I can give them. I'm calling the credit card company, I say, my voice steady. And then we're going to have a very different kind of family meeting. Their confident expressions falter, just slightly, and in that moment I know exactly what I need to do. I grip my phone so tightly my knuckles turn white as Chloe's nonchalant voice floats through the speaker. What's the big deal? The card was going to expire soon anyway. Her tone carries the same dismissive quality she used when borrowing my clothes without asking in high school. Expire? My credit card doesn't expire for another 3 years, Chloe. My stomach clenches as I scroll through the mounting charges on my banking app. Whatever, we're family. It's not a crime. She pauses, and I hear the distinct sound of a shopping bag rustling. Besides, you're rich anyway. $12,000 a month? Some of us are struggling here. The nausea intensifies as I notice new transactions appearing: boutique clothing stores, high-end spas, luxury car rentals. Did you charge all of this to my card too? Mom and Dad deserve a break after everything they've been through, she says, as if this explains everything. It's not like they can afford it themselves. The realization slams into me like a physical blow. They knew about this? All of you planned this together? Chloe's silence tells me everything I need to know. An hour later, I stand in our living room, my parents seated comfortably on the couch they've owned since I was a child. Chloe lounges in the armchair, scrolling through her phone, barely acknowledging my presence. Let me understand this correctly. I say, fighting to keep my voice steady. You knowingly used my credit card without permission to book a luxury vacation. Dad shifts in his seat. Chloe mentioned you'd offered to help with a family trip. We assumed you'd discussed it with her. We've already packed, Mom adds, her smile brittle. I even found those lightweight summer clothes you never wear. Chloe finally looks up from her phone. I borrowed a few of your designer pieces too. That white sundress you got last summer will be perfect for dinner at the resort. This isn't borrowing, it's theft. The word hangs in the air between us. Chloe laughs, the sound sharp and dismissive. Oh please, it's not like you can't afford it. You make what, $12,000 a month? Stop being so stingy. I pull up my banking app again, turning the screen toward them. $23,500. That's what you've charged so far. My voice doesn't waver. My mortgage payment is due next week, and I have property taxes coming up. Dad waves his hand as if swatting away an annoying fly. You'll figure it out. You always do. 18 months. I look at each of them in turn. For 18 months, I've paid this mortgage. All the utilities, groceries, car repairs, insurance, everything. And this is how you repay me? Dad's face darkens. If you make a big deal about this, you'll tear this family apart. After everything we've done for you growing up, Mom adds, leaning forward with that familiar look of wounded disappointment. We gave you everything. Give me everything? I repeat, incredulous. I've been working since I was 16. I paid for my own college. I bought my own car. It's not like you have anyone else in your life anyway, Chloe mutters, returning to her phone. Your job is your whole life. At least we give you something to spend your money on. The room falls silent except for the soft tapping of Chloe's fingers against her screen. In that moment, I saw my family clearly. For perhaps the first time, 3 people who view me not as a daughter or sister, but as a convenient financial solution to their problems. Without a word, I pull out my phone and dial my credit card company. They answer on the second ring. Yes, I need to report unauthorized charges and cancel my card immediately. I maintain eye contact with my family as I speak, watching their expressions shift from confidence to panic. You can't do that, Mom gasps. What about the resort deposit? Dad demands. They'll charge a cancellation fee. Chloe finally puts down her phone. What am I supposed to tell my friends? I already posted about the trip. I finish the call and slip my phone back into my pocket. The silence that follows feels different, heavier with the weight of consequences they never expected to face. As I watch their expressions shift from confidence to panic, I wondered if I should confront them with the full extent of their betrayal immediately, or let them discover the consequences gradually. Would exposing everything at once shock them into understanding, or would letting reality unfold naturally teach a more lasting lesson? What would you do when the people who should love you most see you only as a resource to exploit? I turn and walk toward the door, their protests fading behind me. For the first time in 18 months, I feel something other than obligation. I feel resolve. Tomorrow morning, I wake to my phone buzzing against my nightstand at 5 a.m. Groggily, I reach for it, squinting at the screen's harsh light. 3 texts from coworkers, 2 from college friends, and 7 notifications from Instagram. What on earth? The most recent text from Melissa, my project manager, reads, Your sister's new vacation preparation photos look amazing. So generous of you to treat your family like that. My stomach tightens as I open Instagram. There's Chloe, posing in front of our family home with suitcases, sporting oversized sunglasses and a wide smile. The caption reads, Thanks for always being so generous, sis. Family first, Hawaii, first class. No, I whisper, scrolling through the comments. Dozens of likes. Friends and acquaintances praising her, praising me for my apparent generosity. By lunchtime, my phone won't stop ringing. Aunt Carol's voice crackles through the speaker when I finally answer. Mark says you're causing problems about this little vacation, she says without greeting. After everything your parents have done for you. What exactly have they done for me lately, Aunt Carol? My voice sounds steadier than I feel. She huffs. Family supports family, Autumn. Your father built that business from nothing to give you girls opportunities. The business he ran into the ground while ignoring all financial advice? The words escape before I can stop them. The call ends abruptly. By evening, 3 more relatives have called with similar lectures. I turn off my phone, but not before seeing Dad's voicemail notification. When I finally listen, his voice sounds wounded, manipulative. We've always supported your career. The least you could do is help when we need it. I delete the message and pour a glass of wine, trying to ignore the weight pressing against my chest. The next morning, I grab my laptop to pay my own mortgage and freeze. The password to my savings account has been changed. After 30 minutes with bank security, I learned someone attempted access from my home IP address while I was at work yesterday. When I check my credit report, my hands shake so badly I spill coffee across my keyboard. A loan application for $75,000 was submitted using my personal information 2 days ago. The lender, thankfully, flagged it for verification. I call them immediately. The application was withdrawn an hour ago, the representative explains. Someone called claiming to be you, but they couldn't answer the security questions. My skin crawls as I hang up. I sit at my kitchen table, methodically changing every password I have: email, social media, Amazon, banking, investment accounts. I enable 2-factor authentication on everything. When I check my Amazon order history, I find thousands of dollars in purchases I never made, shipped to my parents' address over the past 3 months. The final straw comes when I check my mail. Tucked between bills is a credit card statement I don't recognize. A card opened in my name 6 weeks ago with a $12,000 balance. My throat tightens until I can barely breathe. I start documenting everything: screenshots, statements, timestamps. I call the credit bureaus to freeze my credit, my hands trembling as I speak with each representative. That night I jump at every noise, checking locks twice before bed. I wake sweating from nightmares where my identity has been completely stolen, where I'm homeless while my family lives in luxury. The phone rings at 9 the next morning. I nearly ignore it, but something makes me check the caller ID. Grandma Rose, Mom's mother, who moved to Georgia after Grandpa died. Hello? I answer cautiously. Autumn. Her voice sounds exactly as I remember, warm but no, nonsense. Linda called me crying about how you're being difficult about some vacation. I brace myself for another lecture, but she continues. Your grandfather never tolerated nonsense either. Sometimes family needs tough love more than handouts. Unexpected tears prick my eyes. You believe me? Course I do. Thomas and I raised Linda to work for what she wanted. Seems she's forgotten those lessons. For the first time in weeks, my smile feels genuine. Thanks, Grandma. 2 days later, I find my parents and Chloe in the kitchen. Mom's folding beach clothes while Dad studies a Hawaii guidebook. Chloe scrolls through her phone, occasionally holding it up to show them resort photos. We should definitely get souvenirs for everyone, Mom says, not noticing me in the doorway. Maybe those little hula dancer figurines? And macadamia nuts, Dad adds. The chocolate-covered ones. I clear my throat. They look up, expressions shifting from excitement to wariness. Autumn, Mom says carefully. We were just discussing a few small souvenirs. Nothing expensive. I don't understand why you're making this so difficult, she continues when I don't respond. This is what families do for each other. Something inside me snaps clean in two. No, I say quietly. This is what ATMs do. I'm your daughter, not your bank. Dad's face reddens. After everything we've sacrificed for you. What exactly have you sacrificed? I ask, stepping fully into the kitchen. My credit score? My savings? My future? You're being dramatic, Chloe mutters, not looking up from her phone. I pull out my own phone, tap the screen, and hit play. Chloe's voice fills the kitchen. Mom and Dad are so pathetic, always whining about money. And Autumn's even worse, useless and cheap. But at least she's good for a free vacation. The color drains from my parents' faces. Chloe's phone slips from her fingers. When did you... she starts. When you butt-dialed me last week, I say. I deserve better than this, and honestly, so do you. Silence falls, heavy and complete. That evening, my phone rings. It's Grandma Rose again. I've been thinking, she says. My restaurant could use extra hands. Got 3 positions open if certain people need work. They won't take them, I say. They will if they need a place to stay. My spare rooms are available too, with conditions. My friend Sarah calls next. I can list the house on short notice, she says. Just say the word. I lean against my bedroom window, staring at the familiar street. My supporters offer solutions, practical help without manipulation, while my family creates problems. For the first time in months, I stand straight. My voice is firm when I speak with Sarah about pricing strategies. My mind is clear as I plan each step. The next morning, I approach my family with an apologetic smile. I've been thinking, I say. You're right, family is important. I want to book you a proper family vacation with my backup travel card. Their expressions shift from surprise to delight as I explain the new booking I'll arrange. They don't notice when I have Chloe sign the cardholder agreement, or when I carefully position her finger on the activation scanner. A week later, I stand in the airport terminal, watching them board their flight to Hawaii. Chloe waves excitedly. Mom blows a kiss. Dad gives a thumbs up. I wave back, smiling, and wait until they're completely out of sight. Then I pull out my phone and dial. Sarah? They just left. Let's get started on the house. I spread the deed across my dining room table, tracing my finger over the property lines of the house I've called home my entire life. The paper feels substantial between my fingers, legally binding. After paying $85,000 in back taxes 18 months ago, I became more than just the dutiful daughter. I became the owner. Sarah leans over my shoulder, her reading glasses perched on the end of her nose. The paperwork is ironclad, Autumn. Your father signed everything over when you saved them from foreclosure. I know. My voice sounds stronger than I feel. I just need to be certain. The morning light streams through the kitchen windows as I methodically photograph each room, every family portrait, every piece of furniture, every knick-knack and keepsake. Not because I'm sentimental, but because I'm thorough. When my family returns from Hawaii, they'll inevitably claim I've stolen or damaged something valuable. Evidence is my shield now. I've got 3 moving companies coming by for quotes today. I tell Sarah as she reviews the listing price we've agreed on. Aggressive but not desperate enough to guarantee a quick sale without raising suspicions. Sarah nods, her decades of real estate experience evident in her confident posture. At this price point, we'll have offers within 48 hours, maybe sooner. My phone vibrates against the table. Chloe's name flashes across the screen. I take a deep breath before answering. I need more money, she demands without preamble. This place has the most amazing shopping and Dad's being totally cheap about it. I'm afraid I can't help you with that. I reply, keeping my voice neutral. The card you're using is actually in your name. You activated it, accepted the terms, and spent freely. Those charges are your responsibility. Her response is immediate and venomous. What are you talking about? You said you'd take care of everything. You can't do this to me. Her voice carries so clearly that the concierge passing by her room pauses, eyebrows raised. I hear him ask if everything is all right. Is that hotel staff? I ask. You might want to lower your voice. Hawaii hotels take disturbing other guests very seriously. This isn't over, Chloe hisses before hanging up. 20 minutes later, my father calls. His voice carries the false, jovial tone he reserves for when he wants something. Your sister is being completely irresponsible with money out here, he complains. She's charged thousands to this new card without asking us first. We thought you were handling the expenses. I open my laptop and locate the voicemail Chloe left for her friend last week, the one where she laughingly called our parents easy marks who wouldn't know if their precious baby girl charged a yacht to Autumn's. Card. I think you should listen to this, I say, forwarding the audio file before ending the call. Later, as I sign the preliminary sale agreement with Sarah, a weight settles in my chest. The pen feels unusually heavy in my hand. As I sign this, I can't help wondering if my actions are too severe. I admit quietly, am I teaching them necessary independence? Or am I punishing them for taking advantage of me? When is cutting financial ties an act of love rather than revenge? Sarah's weathered hand covers mine. Honey, sometimes the kindest thing we can do is stop enabling bad behavior. Over the next 3 days, a remarkable support system materializes around me. Grandmother Rose calls from Atlanta, her warm southern drawl a balm to my frayed nerves. I've spoken with Mitch at the restaurant, she tells me. He'll have positions ready for all 3 of them when they return. Your father can handle inventory, your mother hostessing, and Chloe will wait tables like I did for 40 years. You didn't have to do that, Grandma. Nonsense. They need structure, not another handout. Sarah works tirelessly, expediting paperwork and managing showings while I maintain my work schedule. Even Tom Bradley, whose family has owned the local moving company for generations, offers to personally oversee the packing. "Your grandfather helped my dad start this business," he explains, carefully wrapping Mom's collection of porcelain birds. "Least I can do is make sure everything's packed right." By the 7th day, we accept an offer $15,000 above asking price with a 10-day closing. The universe seems determined to validate my decision. That evening, my phone rings again. Dad's voice sounds different, strained, and genuinely frightened. "Autumn, we have a situation. The false joviality is completely gone. All our credit cards are maxed out, and somehow our savings account is empty." In the background, I hear Mom sobbing. The sound tugs at something deep within me, but I resist the pull. "What happened?" I ask, though I already know. "Chloe." His voice breaks, a sound I haven't heard since his business collapsed. "We may have made a mistake trusting Chloe with finances." The irony is almost too perfect. I close my eyes, picturing the social media storm brewing as extended family members learn about the unauthorized charges. Aunt Margaret has already called twice, horrified by the rumors. "There's something else," Dad continues, his voice small. "Our return flights. Chloe never actually booked them. We're stranded, Autumn. We need your help to get home." I look around at the half-packed house, at the sold sign visible through the window, at the lives I'm dismantling. "I'll book you economy flights," I say finally. "Text me your preferred dates." As I hang up, I realize I'm not enjoying their distress as much as I thought I would. This isn't about revenge anymore. It's about reset. 2 days later, I watched my family file through the front door, their tanned faces glowing with remnants of Hawaiian sunshine. Dad's wearing a new Aloha shirt, the price tag still dangling from the sleeve. Mom's sporting diamond earrings I've never seen before. Chloe's fingernails gleam with a fresh manicure, her wrists jangling with new bracelets. "Autumn!" Mom exclaims, her voice pitched higher than normal. "We brought you something." Dad forces a casual smile, but his eyes dart around the entryway. Place looks different somehow. "Just tidied up while you were gone," I say, keeping my tone neutral. "How was Hawaii?" "Absolutely breathtaking," Mom gushes, fumbling in her purse. "The resort was magnificent. You would have loved it." Chloe hangs back, uncharacteristically quiet, scrolling through her phone with determined focus. "We got you these." Mom presents a small paper bag. Inside, I find a keychain with a plastic pineapple and a magnet shaped like a surfboard that says, "Hang loose in Hawaii." "We thought of you the whole time," Dad says, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. "Did you?" I take the items, turning them over in my hand. Together, they probably cost less than $10. "Listen, honey," Dad clears his throat, settling into his favorite armchair. "About that credit card situation. Family helps family, right? I think if you just pay it off this once, we can put this whole misunderstanding behind us." Mom nods eagerly. "And actually, we were thinking we should discuss increasing your monthly contribution to the household. Everything's getting so expensive these days." I stand, pocketing the cheap souvenirs. "I need to show you something. Let's take a drive." "Now?" Mom's smile falters. "We just got back. We're exhausted." "It won't take long, I promise," already heading for the door. 20 minutes later, I pulled up to the curb in front of our house. A large red sold sign stands prominently in the front yard. Dad's face drains of color. "What the hell is that?" "Let's go inside," I say calmly, leading them up the walkway. When I unlock the door, they step into an almost empty living room. Where family photos once hung, there are now just nail holes. The furniture is gone except for 3 folding chairs arranged in a circle. "What have you done?" Mom whispers, her hand flying to her throat. I reach into my bag and pull out a folder. "I've sold the house. Here's the deed showing I've been the legal owner since paying the back taxes 14 months ago." Dad snatches the paper from my hand. "This can't be right. You can't sell the house without our permission." I produce another document. "Actually, I can. Here's the ownership transfer you signed when the bank was threatening foreclosure. Remember when you were too ashamed to tell Mom about the tax liens?" His face crumples as recognition dawns. "Autumn, we're your parents." "Yes, you are. Which is why I've arranged everything." I walk them through the kitchen to the dining room where dozens of moving boxes stand neatly stacked and labeled. All your belongings are packed and ready to go. Where are we supposed to live? Chloe demands, finally looking up from her phone, panic edging into her voice. Where people who work for a living live near their jobs. I hand them each a printed sheet of paper. These are directions to Grandma Rose's home in Atlanta. She's agreed to take you in. Mom starts crying, mascara streaming down her cheeks. You can't just throw us out. Where are we supposed to go? I just told you. Grandma Rose agreed to take you in on one condition: you work for your keep. She needs help at the restaurant. Work? At Rose's diner? Dad scoffs. I'm an executive. You were an executive, I corrected him. Now you're unemployed with no savings and a daughter who's done supporting you. Chloe steps forward, her face contorted with rage. You think you're so much better than us? You can't do this. I turn to her calmly. Actually, I can. And there's one more thing you should know. I pull out a credit card statement. That new card you've been using in Hawaii? It's in your name. I reported the identity theft on my card, but everything charged to this one, all $30,000, is legally your responsibility. Her mouth opens and closes like a fish gasping for water. The house closes in 3 days. The bus to Atlanta leaves tomorrow morning. I place 3 tickets on the mantle alongside a single key. This is for Grandma Rose's back entrance. She'll be expecting you. Dad steps toward me, his face darkening. You ungrateful little... Don't, I interrupt. Don't make this worse than it already is. For a long moment, we stand in silence, the weight of 18 months of resentment and exploitation hanging between us. You need us, Mom finally says, her voice small. Who else do you have? I think of Sarah, who helped sell the house in record time. Of Grandma Rose, who understood without judgment. Of colleagues who respected my work rather than what I could give them. I have myself, I answer, and that's enough. I leave them standing in the empty living room, the cheap Hawaiian souvenirs still in my pocket. As I drive away, my phone buzzes with text after text. I switch it to silent without looking. 3 weeks later, I hear through relatives that Chloe is actually thriving at Grandma Rose's restaurant. Apparently, her charm works well with customers, and her competitive nature makes her strive to earn the biggest tips. My parents call daily, but I'm not ready to answer yet. I need time to rebuild boundaries that should have existed all along. Then, on a Tuesday morning, a letter arrives with a Georgia postmark. Inside is a handwritten note and a check for $157 with Chloe's endorsement signature on the back. The note reads simply, "First paycheck, more to come, see?" I hold the check in my hand, not quite ready to decide what this means for our future. But for the first time in longer than I can remember, the choice is entirely mine. 3 months later, sunlight filters through the wide windows of my downtown apartment, catching the edges of my framed photographs, portraits of weathered faces at farmers markets, children splashing in fountains, elderly couples on park benches. Dad always called my photography just a hobby. Now these images line my walls, breathing life into a space that's entirely mine. I settled at my kitchen island sleek marble instead of the scratched oak table, where I'd once calculated how to stretch dollars for a family of 4. My laptop screen displays my bank account balance, the numbers steadily climbing each month instead of draining away. No more midnight panic about making the mortgage payment. No more dread when I see my sister's number flash on my phone. My finger traces the squares on next month's calendar. A meeting with a gallery owner, dinner with Sarah, a weekend photography workshop in Santa Fe. Plans that revolve around my passions instead of others' emergencies. When the mail arrives, I sort through it without my shoulders tensing. No unexpected bills, no overdraft notices. Just a cream-colored envelope with a Georgia postmark among the advertisements. I recognize Dad's handwriting immediately. Steady, measured, the way he signs important documents. Autumn. Rose makes us earn every penny here. Mark and I open the restaurant at 5 a.m. and close at 10 p.m. My hands are calloused now. Linda complains about standing all day at the register, but she stopped blaming you for where we are. I realize now I encouraged Chloe's worst traits, just like I took advantage of your reliability. I created this mess, not you. We're stable now. Not comfortable, but managing. Would you consider talking? Just talking, nothing more. Dad. 6 months ago, I would have called immediately, ready to rescue them from any hardship. 3 months ago, I might have ignored the letter entirely. Today, I sit with it. I consider what I need: respect for my boundaries, acknowledgement of the harm done, no requests for money. I think about what a relationship might look like now, one based on mutual respect rather than obligation. I draft my response carefully. I'm open to talking. I won't provide financial support, but I'm willing to rebuild our relationship with clear boundaries. I can visit in July. For the first time, the prospect of seeing my family doesn't fill me with dread or resignation. I'm choosing this on my terms, not from guilt or expectation. Later that evening, I hosted a small dinner party. Grandma Rose, visiting from Atlanta, Sarah, my neighbor Jim, who helped me move, and Patricia from my photography group. My apartment is filled with the smell of roasting chicken and the sound of genuine laughter. Rose raises her glass. To foundations built on respect, not obligation. My laugh comes easily, unburdened. I realize I haven't truly laughed in the 18 months I'd spent propping up my family. The sound is rusty but real. The following weekend, I drove to Atlanta. I stand outside Rose's restaurant for several minutes, watching through the windows. Chloe moves efficiently between tables in her server's uniform, her smile no longer entitled but earned. Mom manages the register, counting change carefully. Dad seats an elderly couple, pulling out a chair with the deference of someone who's learned humility. When I finally push through the door, the bell announces my arrival. They look up in unison, surprise giving way to something more measured. No rushing forward with demands disguised as affection. No immediate mentions of what I could do for them. "Autumn," Dad says, his voice steady. "We weren't expecting you until next week." "I finished a project early," I replied, surprised by the ease in my voice. "Would you like to join us?" Mom asks, gesturing to an empty table. "Our shift ends in an hour." As I sit watching my family serve others, truly serve, not just expect service, I wonder if some relationships can only heal once the harmful patterns are completely broken. Is it possible that the greatest act of love is sometimes refusing to continue enabling destructive behavior? What would you do? Attempt to rebuild with new boundaries, or maintain the distance that finally brought peace to your life?